So hello everyone, welcome to the new video, and today we are going to see the how we are generating the tokens in Spring Boot. So directly let's get started. So first of all, you all know how to generate a Spring project, and if you don't, so I will show you how to generate a Spring project. So just go to your browser and right here start.spring.io. This is the website, or we can directly write a Spring initializer to generate our Spring Boot project, or we can use Eclipse or STS, or we have VS Code extension also. We have from everywhere, every IDE we have different methods to generate the Spring Boot project. But normally we are generating the Spring Boot project from here is with the help of Spring initializer. So now we can see the screen like this. So this is asking for the language. Of course we are using the Java, and here we are the project type. So we are using, of course, the Gradle Kotlin. You can of course use Maven also, but there we have a dependency file where it is using XMLs, and I personally don't like the XML language, so I'm using the Gradle Kotlin, and I will show you how Gradle Kotlin will looks like. Okay, and the Spring Boot version, this is the latest version of the Spring Boot 3.0.2. So I'm using this, and today we are generating tokens. So we are giving the generate token. Artifact and name are the same thing, so we have just given name generate token to our project. Okay, so and group is basically our package, so I will leave as it is. And now you can see the Java version. So of course I have Java 17 in my system. You can check your Java version, and based on that you can select the Java version. And one more thing, when you are using the Spring Boot 3, you can use only this with the Java 17. If you are using older than the 17 version, then you can't use the this version. You have to use the this one 2.7 point, the older version. So to use the Spring Boot's latest version, you have Java's latest or Java 17 or more than the 17 versions in your system. Okay, so this is how we are doing the setup. Now we are doing some dependencies. Okay, so the first dependency is Spring Web. So you can see what these dependencies are doing. So it is used to build a web or RESTful APIs, okay, or using the Spring MVC project. So we have to use this Spring Web dependency. And the second dependency is Spring Boot DevTools, so provide fast applications, and basically it is used for to restart our project automatically. And the third one is uh, we have to use Spring Security. So this one is Spring Security, we are selecting this, and you can see highly authentication. Yeah, this is, you can also know the by its name Spring Security. So it is used to secure our project, so that's why we are using this. And we are adding more dependencies later in our project, but first we have to use basically these three dependencies, and this is our setup for project. So now you can just click on the generate button, and it will generate a zip file in your system. Okay, so just I have to configure it where I need that. I have a Spring Boot folder. Okay, so I just download that zip file. So zip file is downloaded. Now it is automatically unzip. Okay, so this one. So now we open it is our VS Code. Okay, so yeah, It's open. So now you can see here is our project. Okay, so the first we have to see the build.gradle.kts. So I was saying about this file when I was saying you can generate a maven project or a gradle project. Okay, so this is our gradle project. This is our dependency file, you can say. Of course, if we choose our the maven project, so here instead of this we have a xml file. So it is basically a too long, so I don't prefer the xml, or so that's why I was using that gradle instead of the maven. You can choose anyone, which one you like. So you can see now we have the dependencies here. Like first of all, Spring Boot starter security, our first dependency. You remember we have add just a few minutes before. Spring security, Spring web, and Spring DevTools. These three dependencies I have added here, and these two dependencies are the test dependencies. They are basically automatically added in our project for the testing purpose. Okay, so basically these three are that I have added the dependencies. Okay, so I needed more dependencies in the project in the further we are processing, but first of all, okay, I will just terminate this terminal at that time. So first of all, we are just creating a file structure for the project. Basically the this file structure is used in every project in the Spring Boot. So okay, so you know what is the main file. This is the src folder. Under the main folder into the Java, here we have the main file of the Spring Boot. In this file uh, we can run the Spring project. Okay, so this is the, we can say, entry point of the Spring Boot. Okay, so this is how it is. So and if you run this, you can see the now. Okay, so you can see Tomcat started on port 8080. Okay, it is a default port for the Tomcat, and basically Tomcat is a server that it's inbuilt server in the Spring Boot. Okay, so we don't add an external server for that. This is the beauty of the Spring Boot. Okay, so it's give that Tomcat server, and it is running on the port number 8080. So if we open it in our browser, okay, yeah, you can see this login page, and I don't do anything right now, but we are showing this login page because we have added the Spring security. Okay, so the Spring security gives us this login page. Okay, so if we see here in our terminal, Spring security gives us a password also. Okay, it is auto generated password to logged in this. Yeah, you can see it using generated security password. Okay, so this is our password here. We can use this password also to log in there. I will show you. Okay, so if by default its username is user and password they have gave us, so just paste it and sign in. So you can see here white level error page because we doesn't create any page right now, so it will show that. Okay, so now we have this main file. Now we are generating some more packages. Okay, we are generating more packages or a file structure. So first of all, I will creating some packages, and I will show you why I'm creating these. Okay, so I will quickly generate the packages and the files, and then I will explain you why I have created these files. Okay, so now here you can see I have created these 5 packages inside which now I will create some files. So this is the basic file structure. If you are learning Spring Boot, you have to learn about these file structure. Of course, you can do whatever you want, any file structure, but this is the basic, and everyone is using this. Okay, so this is, you can say, a default for everyone, so you have to create this. Okay, so this is a, I have created a config package where we added some configuration files. Okay, and second one is controller. So in controllers we are creating our REST APIs, and our in our entity we are just added some data related to the anything that we have created. Suppose if we are creating a student related entity, or we can say it a model, so we can add here. Okay, I will show you how we are doing. Okay, and then these are services. So we are using these services. Okay, so I will show you how to add the services. There are some methods in the services. Okay, and we can add some default username passwords in the services. I will show you also what are the services and how we are using this. And this is the utility class. So basically it is also a function that how we are generating tokens or expire tokens, all the things we are checks in the utility class, and we will show what we have done in the utility class. So first of all, the first thing is how we are creating an entity. Okay, or we can say it's a model also. Okay, model or entity. So first let's create entity. So a new file we are creating here, and we are naming JWT uh, request. Okay, dot java. So here we are uh, creating a entity. Now see here, uh, I am creating things like a username or what, password, because if someone enter a username or password, so the token is generated automatically. Okay, so these things I want to do. So just what, go to the source section. We have to generate some constructors and getters and setters for this one. Okay, so I'm doing these things. Now first of all, our default constructor. Now we need a parameterized constructor also. Okay, so just select all, and okay, this one parameterized constructor. And now at last we need a getter and setters. Okay, select all, and okay, so that's all. Okay, it's that much simple, just to create an entity and create its constructors and generate getters and setters to get and set the values. You will see further how we use the getters and setters. Okay, in our control class we are basically using these. Okay, so this one, and we need a one more entity uh, like a JWT response. We can give it any name, but we are giving this response. And here in this class we are also mention something, and here we are mentioning what. Hey, we can give a name like JWT token. Okay, yeah, so we can give it a name that we want an entity by this name. Okay, JWT token. And same thing, just generating a default constructor. Okay, now what, parameterized constructor also. And at last we need a getter and setters. Okay, so generate getter and setters. Okay, so it's done. So now this is how you can see we are generating our entity. Okay, so this is done. This is all for our entity class or our entity package. Now we can create a service class. Okay, so anything we can create, but okay, so now we can create our service class and we can give it a what, custom user service. Again, you can give it a any name what you want, and I will give it a custom user service. Okay, basically this is a class custom user service which implements user details service. Okay, I will show you how implements user details service. Okay, so this is provided by the, you can see org.springframework.security. Okay, so this class is provided by Spring Security. Okay, I will show you why they are providing this, but first of all, it's add to an implemented method and it will give us this method. You can see here we are getting the method load by username. Okay, so this is the thing that the user details service class that Spring Security provided, it is used throughout the framework as user DAO and the strategy used by the DAO authentication provider. Okay, so this interface requires only one read method and which simplifies support for new access. So it basically is a core interface which loads user specific data. Okay, so that's why we implements user details service here. Okay, so now we are using here checking that username dot equals. Okay, you know what is the usernames that we used in our entity class, that is a username, and a username dot equals to what, if we said it is equals to our object name, and we can pass here a username. Okay, by default we are giving here a username like hero. Okay, so this is our username, this should be our username. Okay, and if it is the username we are entering, so then what, then return a new user. This is also a user which is a user method which is provided by the Spring Security. Okay, we are using this user, and what should be, if it is the use hero we are entering, so we can add here a id and password and new what, array list. Okay, so now just see here what it is saying. If the username is equals to the hero, okay, if our username is hero, so then just return the username and password, and new array list means we can add more function in that array list or more users we can say. Okay, so we have to give also a else condition, and in our else condition it will what, it will throw an exceptions. So what exception is that, username not found exception, of course. So user not found we can pass it here. Okay, so that's it, of course. So this is the basic service. Okay, we are just define the id and password here, that give this id or password, and if it id and password is the same, so token will generate it. Of course we are not writing the logic for the token right now, but this is the things. Okay, so our service class is also completed. Now uh, we have to make our configure class. So in our configuration class, you can see we have a get our data, because in our configuration file or utility file, basically These files are not used or not written by the developers mostly in Spring Boot, because these are the same files. Okay, so we just have to understand these files, or we just pick it from the internet. Okay, so I'm just going to the also picking it from internet. Okay, so first of all, I that what okay, I was showing you the configuration file. This is the configuration file. Okay, so I have to just pick it up from this one, because imports I have to use my own imports. Okay, so I will give you the code of this one. Okay, so what a new file I have to create it, and what give it a security config.java. Okay, uh, just paste here the code. Okay, I will explain you everything in a second, but first of all, public, not this one, or I can change this name, security config na. Okay, so just remove these things, and here in the configuration file, this is our configuration file, so you can see a configuration annotation is there, and of course we have to import these things. These all things are giving error, that's why. Okay, so I've just imported all the things, uh, because I was drag and drop these files, so these are giving the errors. Okay, so now we can see in our security configuration file, as we has remove all the errors from here, as we imported it from the net, and now we can see what we are doing here first. Okay, so this is the first bean we are created. We are annotated it with a bean because we can use these beans in some other classes. Okay, so we have to annotate these with bean annotation. Okay, so first of all, what we have done, we are using the security filter chain. Okay, so this security filter chain is capable of being matched against the HTTP servlet. Okay, so this is how we are basically it is used to that, but as for HTTP security. Okay, so here we are defining all these uh, configuration, we can say, in the security, as we have disabled the CSRF tokens, CORS tokens. You can learn about these. What are these? Basically these are the uh, kind of attack on our system, so we have disabled these things. Okay, authorized HTTP request matchers, we can say we have to match the request, that if we have the this slash token named URL, so we can permit all the things for that. Okay, so this is how we provide all the configuration for the security filter chain. Okay, now after that we have configure one more bean here. In that bean we are make a authentication manager. Okay, so basically this function does what, this is the inbuilt function of Spring security also, as like the security filter chain. So in authentication manager it will authenticate the username and password, so we use authentication manager for that. So we just have to configure it here. Okay, or same like that, a DAO authentication provider. Okay, just like the authentication manager. So authentication, it implements that it retrieves user detail from user detail service. Okay, you know user detail service, as we have defined in the services class, or implements it in the service class, the user detail service. So it is uh, provided by, also provided by the Spring security, the user detail service. So, and at last we have a password encoder. This one, password encoder, we are using the pcrypt password encoder to encrypt our password. Okay, so this is the basic configuration file and in our every Spring security project we are using this file, and I will drop the link in the description box from where you get these the auto build configuration files, because in every project we are using these. Okay, so now we have created our configuration file also, and before that we have created our entity, our services, and now we need one utility class. Okay, so as like the configuration file, we also need the utility file. It is also we are getting from the directly from the internet, because it's not a good thing that we are writing it again and again, because the configuration file and the utility file almost same for everywhere, so we can choose directly pick it from the internet, and I will also give it the link of the utility file in my description box. Okay, so let's just copy paste from the net. Okay, so we can see here utility file. Okay, just go back. This is a utility class. Okay, so where is the component? This one. Okay, just copy it, and okay, so we have to create a new utility class as what we can say, name it. We can name it okay, JWT utility. Okay, so okay, that's okay. New file, JWT utility dot java. Okay, we have created the this utility class. Okay, so just paste the utility class code. I will explain what was that. Okay, yeah, same name. Just remove this one. We have annotated it with a component. I will told you why we are annotating with component. First of all, so I will explain you why I am using this, but first of all I will remove all the errors. Okay, so I'll just import all the things, and okay, wait a minute. So okay, these things are giving me error, but it's not solved yet, because the import option is not visible here, because we are not added all the dependencies yet. So let's go to our build.gradle.kts file again. So here in our build.gradle.kts file, we have added the three dependencies before at the time when we are creating the project, but at that time I was saying that we will add some more dependencies later in the project, and now we are getting some errors in the JWT utility file. You can see that we can't get these problems, because we have to import these keys or these signature algorithms or claims, but we are not getting the import because of these dependencies. Okay, so to add the dependencies in here in our dependencies section, so we have to get these dependencies from the Google. Okay, so the first dependency is, I will show you from basic. Okay, so we have to search first dependency is like JWT is our dependency, JWT API, and just write Maven. Okay, because we are using the Maven in our project, so we have tried JWT API. The first dependency is this one. Okay, so the latest dependency is this one, 0.11.5. just click on it. Okay, we are using Gradle Kotlin na? Okay, just click on it, and this line just copy it and just simply paste it on here. Okay, we have add this dependency. Now we have to add another dependency. Just search here now, JJWT, another with the same name, JJWT and IMPL. Okay, this one, JJWT IMPL. Okay, click on it. and now also the same version 0.115 Gradle Kotlin, copy and but just paste here. Okay, and then now the last dependency, uh, JWT again and Jackson. Okay, this one is the last dependency here we are using. So again same version 0.11.5 Gradle Kotlin, just copy it and paste it here. Okay, and now just save it. Okay, just a build file. It was asking that you have updated your build file, so do you want to synchronize with the Java class path or configuration? So of course you have to configure these things with your configuration file to sync all the files with your project. Okay, there is some problem. Reload project. Okay, reloading. Okay, you can see here uh, it was reloading here. So when it is reloading, this error is gone from here. Okay, so now after adding all the dependencies, you can see from our JWT utility file I have removed all the errors. Okay, so you have understand what are the dependencies we have added. Okay, now you can see we have different methods in the JWT utility file. So first we can variable JWT expiration in millisecond. Basically we are given a time that in this time we the token is expired. Okay, and I have used this variable in you can see in the methods. Okay, so I will show you. And now we have created a secret key signature algorithm that HS256, this algorithm we are using. Okay, we have stored these things in a key. Okay, so every time we need a signature or a hash code, we use, instead of this whole thing, we just use a key variable. Okay, so now we are using this function extract username. So basically from this function we are extracting the username. Okay, and from this extract expiration we are just checking the the token is expired or not, or the generate token function we are generating the tokens, the validate token we are just validating the token here, and extract claim function here. uh, you know what are the claims are basically this is a JWT claim sets. Okay, so this is an ultimate JSON map, and can also so you can understand it's just like a map. Okay, so and after that we have extract all the claims like parser builder, sign key, and our claims JWT tokens. We have these things, and at last we are creating the token. So this is the code for the creating the token, the main thing we are doing here. Okay, and this is the setting or configuration we are doing here. So you don't remember the whole code always. Okay, you just understand what the JWT utility file does. Okay, and you just take this code from the net. I will give you the link of the code in the description box, but always you refer to this, or you can find anywhere in the internet these codes. Okay, these will always be the same. So, or at last we have the is token expired function, which is checking the token is expired or not. Okay, so we have completed the JWT utility function or JWT utility class. So now at last we have completed all the things. At last we need to create a controller. Okay, so now we have to create a controller with the class name auth. Okay, so this controller, first of all we have to annotate it with a rest controller. Okay, so now after that we have to add here what JWT utility. Okay, JWT utility, and we have to auto wired it also. So we have to auto wired here, and one more thing we are auto wiring. Okay, and this is what custom user service. Okay, so private uh, custom user service, okay, and custom user service. Okay, so these things we are, and at last we are also auto wired the authentication manager, and I have told you what the authentication uh, manager does. It just authenticate the user is valid or not. Okay, just checking the username or password. It is basically a class given by the Spring Security. Okay, so we have to create just constructor of the class. Okay, so here we pass custom user service. Oh, sorry, what was that? Custom user service. Okay, custom user service and authentication manager. Okay, we are just passing these two things here in this function. Now we are checking this dot custom user service is the custom, we have created the custom user service class before. Okay, and this is checking the authentication, oh sorry, authentication manager. Okay, authentication, oh sorry, again, what is this? Authentication manager. Okay, now at last we are creating a controller. Okay, so with the help of what? Request body. So here with the help of request body we are attaching our, so we are with the help of request body we are attaching our parameters with the body of the code. Okay, so that's why we use the request body annotation. Okay, and authentication manager dot authenticate, we have to just authenticate what? Okay, so we have to authenticate new username password authentication token, which we get from where? User login dot get username. Okay, user login dot get username. Okay, and user login dot get password. Okay, these two things we are getting from there, and at last we return JWT utility dot generate, what we have the generate token function now. So user login dot what? Get username. We are getting the username from the here. Okay, so now this is how we have created a controller class also. Okay, so now just so now we just go to our Postman and check for the what, where is the service class? Okay, so now we are checking for this username and password that we are generating tokens or not. Okay, so just go to our Postman and check for slash what, this one token. Okay, now go to our body, and if you are going for the what, our username and our password is here, this one. Okay, so if you click this button, is should be the post request. Okay, so just hit the send button. Oh yeah, yeah, before this one we should run the server now. Okay, so we should run the server and just click on the run button, and We can see here server is running or not properly. Yeah, here we can see Tomcat is started, port number 8080. So now if we see, let's send again, and here we can see we are successfully generating the token. Okay, so this is how we are generating the token in the Spring Boot with the help of JWT. Okay, so thank you for this video. Okay.